It's the moment that fans have been waiting a long time for. Seth Rollins has been finally kicked out of the Vision. So what does this mean? Where is everything all headed, and why did this happen? Let's get into every part of it. This all started when Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman linked up at WrestleMania. Paul Heyman apparently thought Seth was the best choice for him out of those three superstars in that WrestleMania match. Then a few nights later, Seth added Bron Breakker to the group. Then a few weeks after that, and Bronson Reed was added to the group. The group accomplished a lot, but a lot of their major things were all things that only benefited Seth Rollins. They helped him win the Money in the Bank contract, and they helped him win the world title with that big heist in secret. But when you look at what Seth has done for the Brons, there isn't much there to really look at. The Brons have basically been helping each other whenever they need help. Seth Rollins never really comes to their aid, doesn't really show any care for them. Seth is just focused on himself, and sees the Brons as nothing but his henchmen pretty much. So that right there could be one of the underlining reasons for the betrayal. Seth Rollins has become a narcissist, and that's not the best way to keep people by your side at all. Seth Rollins foreshadowed his removal from the group earlier in the night, where he flat out boasted and bragged about not needing anybody at all. This was another line that was massively offensive to the Brons. They've done everything for Seth Rollins in the last few months, and now Seth is going to dismiss their actions and act like he's been doing it all alone this whole entire time. That's really going to anger the Brons in a big way, makes them feel invisible and not important at all. Seth Rollins sold his members on the idea that the group will lead them all to the promised land together. But the reality of the Vision has been that Seth Rollins is the only one benefiting from the group, and it looks like Bron Breakker was the first to notice that. Even after the promo from Seth Rollins, Bron Breakker is walking distantly in the back of the entire group, which was more foreshadowing of Bron's betrayal. It seems like that arrogant and narcissistic promo by Seth Rollins was really the last nail in the coffin for Bron Breakker. Bron had heard enough after that promo from Seth Rollins, and it looks like he made his decision in his mind right there. So after CM Punk became the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight title, Bron Breakker nails Seth Rollins with a spear to mark Seth's exit from the group. Based on some of the context clues of the segment, it looks like this was something that Bron Breakker planned alone. Bron Breakker hit that spear, and on the spot he tried to get Bronson Reed to understand his standpoint and join him, which Bronson Reed absolutely did, and agreed with what Bron Breakker had done. The Brons then turned over to Paul Heyman and gave him the big choice of either staying with Seth or staying with them, and Paul Heyman ultimately decided to stay with the Brons. Bron Breakker even held up the World Heavyweight title for the closing shot of standing over Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman's partnership with each other ends after barely 6 months together. A lot of fans are confused and wondering if this means the end of the Vision completely, but it doesn't look like that's the case. The best thing to compare it to is probably what the Judgment Day went through with Edge in 2022. The Judgment Day viewed Edge as an old and out-of-touch leader that wasn't really taking them anywhere, so they kicked him out of the group and carried the group forward under their own control. It looks like that's exactly what's happening with the Vision. They kicked out Seth Rollins, who they felt was just in it from himself and wasn't taking the group anywhere together, and now they're going to continue the Vision on their own. Considering that this whole betrayal on Seth Rollins was orchestrated and started by Bron Breakker, it appears that Bron is the new leader and shot caller for the Vision. He was the one that first acted out on giving Seth the boot. So if you take out the leader, it's only right for you to become the leader yourself. Bron Breakker will now look to put the Vision back on track, give it back that original purpose of making sure all the members properly shine and are all part of the future together. Similar to the Judgment Day, it seems possible that the new leadership of the Vision will look to add more new members of their choosing in the future. Maybe they'll look to add more younger talent to the group. If this group is all about the Vision for the future, maybe it does make sense to dump the oldest member of the group and look to fill in some spots with younger talent that do have the potential to really make an impact in the future. That appears to be the new direction for the Vision, and Seth Rollins does not appear to be the only Vision member that has been kicked out. But by kicking out Seth, it looks like Becky Lynch has now also been quietly exiled from the Vision. Becky Lynch had literally just joined the Vision back at Clash in Paris back in August. But with the group kicking out her husband, there's no way that Becky just sticks with the Vision anymore. Therefore, Seth's removal also removes Becky Lynch at the same time. So that was a really short run in the Vision for Becky Lynch that has now come to an end. It's not clear if Seth and Becky will remain paired up on television or not, now that they've been kicked out of the Vision. So that'll be something to watch out for there as well. Although there were some fans calling out the Vision for their blandness in recent weeks, this moment still served as a massive shock because no one was expecting it this soon. Everyone knew this would be the eventual endgame for Seth Rollins' time in the Vision, but everyone thought it would be maybe even sometime next year, especially not before War Games as well. where basically all year long there's been rumors of the Vision being on their own side of the War Games match. So no one was expecting for Seth to be removed before that big match, but it has happened. So even everyone's War Games expectations have changed immensely because of this moment. A lot of fans are excited for this new direction for the Vision. It's the spark they desperately needed. But we also have to remember that it was a shock moment, and under the current regime, they're great at delivering shocks, but not so good with properly following up that shock. So that's something to just keep in mind as well. Was this a quick adjustment to just cause a big shocking moment and that's it? Or will there be a proper full story and plan behind this big change for the Vision? That's a very important question to ask there. It was also quickly looked over since the big betrayal happened, but CM Punk did become the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight title again, meaning that Seth Rollins versus CM Punk for the title will be happening in the near future. Punk versus Rollins is a feud that's been going on literally since the night Punk returned in 2023. So there is some fan fatigue there with that matchup and feud. But the new thing here that makes this upcoming match a bit interesting is that Seth Rollins no longer has Paul Heyman and the Vision at his disposal. There'll be no heist, no trickery, no games, no outside interference. Just Seth Rollins versus CM Punk for the title one-on-one. Seth said that he doesn't need anybody. Well, he's not going to have anybody available to help him there with that upcoming title match against CM Punk. Sure, you can argue that Seth could still use Becky to help him out, but that would be too similar to what went down at Clash in Paris. So it seems unlikely that they'll copy and paste that same outcome. So talk about your luck changing in the blink of an eye. That's exactly what happened for Seth Rollins. He opened Raw with 2 championships in his hands, Paul Heyman and the Bron standing behind him. And by the end of the night, Seth is alone, beaten, and now has a date with CM Punk to defend the World Heavyweight title. So things changed quickly there. And we're about to find out if Seth Rollins was the World Heavyweight Champion because of himself, or if he was champion just because of the help from the Vision. Plus, with Seth now fully out the way, it looks like Paul Heyman is more free than ever to call up Brock Lesnar and get something going there as well. Seth may be out of the Vision, but the popular fan theory of Paul Heyman contacting Brock Lesnar about doing business with the Vision still seems very much alive. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.